Hey everyone, me Kevin here. We have an interesting new bill that just came into Congress. This is just in. Kevin Brady, a Republican in the House of Representatives, just introduced a bill that would create a real payroll tax holiday from September 1st to December 31st. This is interesting, especially since right now we've got a big stalemate going on in Congress in terms of an actual stimulus package. Let's talk about what this means, some details, and some other things going on right now. Quick note, you can now get $20 for depositing $100 with M1 Finance. So when you oftentimes hear me talk about my favorite stock picks, and I link those down below, you can click on those, you can click on the little invest in pie button. You don't actually have to invest in those pies, but if you open an account and deposit $100, you will get $20 for free. That's like an instant 20% return on your money. So check out M1 Finance in the links down below. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the content. Donald Trump, on August 8th, signed an executive order to defer payroll taxes, the 6.2% Social Security portion of our payroll. But this would have potentially had to have been paid back if Congress didn't forgive the deferred amounts. That led a lot of employers to say, too complicated, too much uncertainty, we are not doing it. Kevin Brady's new bill would eliminate that 6.2% Social Security tax obligation from employees, including self-employed individuals, from September 1st through December 31st, and would forgive that money. There's also a provision in this bill that would borrow the money to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund, so that way no money is being robbed out of the Social Security Trust Fund. And when we borrow from the general fund, we basically borrow it from the Federal Reserve, and we're just printing money at that point, basically. So this is not to defund Social Security, as the media oftentimes says, and that is specifically within the bill. The purpose here is just to give people working some form of a boost. That would be good for heroes or anybody making under $100,000. Obviously, if you're not working, it wouldn't give you a boost, and that would be disappointing, of course, but it is what this bill is. This, by the way, also comes at the same time as the House of Representatives has stated that for their employees, everybody in the House of Representatives and all the staffers in the House, they will not be taking Trump's payroll tax deferral because it's just too complicated and there's too much uncertainty as to whether or not this would actually end up getting forgiven. That is, the withheld payroll tax would actually get forgiven. This bill would solve all of that. All of these uncertainties would just be solved. And we would basically get 4 months of a payroll tax break, which if you make about $50,000 per year, you would save around $1,033 between now and the end of the year. Well, actually, since September 1st and the end of the year. So there would be some retroactive element to this. Now, this is almost kind of like a smaller stimulus check that you would get over time. And this is not supposed to be instead of a stimulus check or instead of a stimulus package. This is just a standalone bill that was introduced that just in the meantime, maybe we can clean up the payroll tax problem from Trump's executive order while still having the regular stimulus discussion. So this is kind of like a sidebar stimulus bill. Now, if this bill ends up getting brought up in the House and Democrats pass it, it's very likely to pass the Republican-controlled Senate. That way, everybody in Congress would be able to say, hey, at least we got something done, some kind of money to folks, although hopefully we would continue to see real stimulus negotiations because the reality is we do need funding for schools, the Paycheck Protection Program, some form of liability protections, and stimulus checks. But in the meantime, if this gets slammed through, this would be a nice extra boost to people who are working. Again, it does leave out people who are not working. Kevin Brady is now running, he's the representative who introduced this, is now running pictures on Twitter saying that this bill would give the average 2-household couple earning $120,000, that's about $60,000 each, which is right around average in the United States, a $2,480 credit. And of course, there are a lot of people making less than that. There are people making more than that, so I understand it's just an average. And he also goes on to say that the average single mom would receive a tax credit of $1,137. In the meantime, Congress is off for the weekend and Republicans, as usual, left with getting nothing done. My only hope to all the people in Congress is that they've signed up for life insurance in as little as 5 minutes via the link down below. By the way, Mitch McConnell came out today and said, "We have been in a challenging period. Regretfully, I can't tell you that we're going to get there," talking about a stimulus package. "I wish I could tell you we were going to get another package, but it doesn't look good right now," McConnell said in Kentucky today. Honestly, McConnell sounds really defeated. Well, Mitch, maybe we should have done something and thought about this a little bit earlier, like 5 months ago. Anyway, at the same time, Chuck Schumer stated that Democrats urge our Republican colleagues to come to the table and meet us halfway and negotiate in good faith on a bipartisan comprehensive bill that would benefit the entire country. Keep in mind, if you get all the Democrats on board with a bill, you only need like 5 or 6 Republicans to actually pass the bill in the Senate. And Trump's probably going to sign it because he wants some stimulus before the election. Think about that for a moment. If the House passes a bill, it's Democrat-controlled, a smaller bill, and they just get like 5, call it 10 Republicans on board out of the 53 Republicans in the Senate, and they slam that through with all the leftover Democrats and the independents, and they put it in front of Trump's desk and go, here, we did it without most of your Republican friends, but you could sign this bill and checks could go out next week with your name on it. Democrats could push something through if they did something like that. I kind of wish they would introduce a compromise bill. Right now, the only thing we've seen introduced is Kevin Brady's bill on waiving the payroll tax entirely from Sept 1 to December 31st, which at least did something, but otherwise, things have just been very frustrating. So anyway, check out the courses in the links down below with that Labor Day week coupon code, which I guess Labor Day week does end, well, soon. And do check out that M1 Finance. The $20 after you deposit $100, I think, is a pretty cool promotion because that's like a guaranteed $20 bill for like $5 worth of work or 5 minutes worth of work. All right, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.